Hey, how's everybody going today? Give me a minute to get things set up here. Uh, Let me get rid of the emojis. Hey, good morning. How are you doing? Waypoint, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well. Let me get things set up here. Cat, good morning. Paste, enter, pin.
Hey, Paul,
Hey,
can you hear
Mike,
me?
good morning.
Morning. Do you know how to change the name on my profile permanently from where you are?
No, I can rename you and change you, but I can't.
Yeah. Can you see where it says Cool Cat in brackets, Michael? Could you put that as my permanent? I'm a bit loud.
Now you're muted. Now you're not. Sunstar, how you doing? Good morning. It's Thursday morning here.
apparently I've got my pipe arriving tomorrow, so I can pretend to be Sherlock Holmes.
Samuel Day Champlain is downbound. It's a tug barge combination. And it's a bulk fuel and chemical tanker. So how's everybody doing today? I hope well. I hope everybody's doing good.
Yeah, not too bad. How's the weather where you are, Paul? Super hot. Can you hear me, Paul?
I can't hardly hear you.
Oh, okay. Let me fiddle with the microphone.
Very low, very muffled.
Okay.
Can you hear me all
How about?
right?
I can hear you, all right. Yeah. How's that now? Is that better?
That's better. A lot better.
Okay. Well, there's 14 watching.
14 people, yep.
Wish more people would join the panel. It'd be nice.
So now we got 12 people watching. So what's everybody up to? You gotta get ready for the big fourth over here. It's the 4th of July weekend. It's not that way for you, but yeah,
Of course.
4th of July is coming up.
What do you generally do, Paul, on the 4th of July? Do you,
Well, usually all the communities have fireworks or special events or carnivals or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not as big an event for me as what it once was.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean that's true for many things like Christmases and birthdays and stuff. As you get older, you tend not to get into them as much. I tend to mourn my birthdays instead. Especially around 50. 50 was a bit of a point, I think. I started realizing I shouldn't be wasting too much time worrying about things that I can't control. Yeah, so tomorrow, I take delivery of my new smoking pipe, my
Oh,
long. Remember I mentioned it? Yeah, this is a
I know
librarian pipe.
you mentioned that you were thinking about it, and you showed me, you showed several
Hmm.
different versions.
Yeah, I was talking to Mark about it, and I think we seem to be in some kind of logical agreement that it's the route to smoking less, let's say, rather than quitting. Because I think if you're going to quit, you just got to stop smoking anything, and I think that's true. But I like the idea of just cutting back a little bit because I do enjoy it. Just don't think it's very healthy thing to do. Of course, yeah, Waypoint brings up the debate, the Trump and the Sleepy Joe debate. It should be interesting. Will you be watching that, Paul? Are you watching the debate or not?
What's that? Oh,
Will
the
you be
debate.
watching the
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Now the funny part about it is 80% of the population thinks that both candidates should take a cognitive test and a drug test before the debates, and
Right.
and Biden says no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's particularly necessary. I don't think there's any performance enhancing drugs anyway when it comes to debating. I mean, can you imagine getting
Well, no,
high
but
and trying to win an argument?
the thing of it is it if you took a blood test for drugs, would also tell you if you're talking to somebody that's got a real issue with their mind and what they're saying and speech and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, so it's really just about cognition then only rather
Yep,
than drugs.
yep, exactly.
Okay. I mean, clearly Joe is suffering from some kind of dementia. I'm not an expert, but there it is. He's suffering
Oh
from
yeah,
something.
definitely. You can see that he can't focus or concentrate.
Yeah.
I'm just scanning through my camera. Somebody said that there was somebody in my side yard late last night, like around midnight or 11 o'clock, but I don't see anybody in my yard.
Doesn't mean they're not there. They could have been snooping around. I say could. I mean, it's not to say there was anyone, of course. So who told you that? A neighbor?
My tenant upstairs.
Oh, okay.
But
Excuse me.
going back a little bit further to see if I can spot it, but he said about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and
And you didn't hear anyone outside trying to check doors or anything, no?
no. But that doesn't mean, because I get in my chair and I doze off on and off type of thing.
Right. Yeah, if you see anything, it's probably.
I have exterior lighting that goes on and off.
And is it automatic? So it senses someone comes on?
Yes,
Uh,
my cameras are running all the time, but
right.
the lighting out there.
Yeah, it's probably okay. But if you see anyone on the camera, just to turn it over to the police. Yeah. Well, Mark was here a minute ago. I wonder where he is now.
Oh, everybody's probably doing their thing,
Mm. He's probably a bit upset with me for dropping some facts yesterday. Maybe even coming to terms with it still. Who knows?
We're down to 11 people watching, huh?
Oh,
Hey,
Yeah, there you go.
it's Justin.
It could have been Justin snooping around your property, Paul. I'm gonna ask him.
I'm just over here going through my outdoor cameras and I don't see anything. So
That's good.
Brian Sunstar Mark. What happened?
well, my tenant upstairs said that somebody was in my yard last night, and I'm just going through.
Oh, you got YouTube playing, Paul.
What?
You got YouTube playing. I think. Do you?
Can't hear anything.
I don't hear it now. Okay, never mind.
Not me, is it? So,
Do you see anything though? People coming in and out or what?
No. My outside lights, my automatic lights keep going on and off, and I don't see anything.
It could have been they were just walking through your yard to go somewhere else. They just cut through there. Wasn't nothing like bad or anything. I mean, granted, you shouldn't be cutting through people's yards, but people do it. Mark talking to said, "Morning, Paul Stan." Who the hell's Stan?
Sam, yeah.
Big black cat was out there at, what time was that? About midnight. Black cat, big, huge black cat. Somebody walked down the sidewalk just before that. There's a skunk out there. No, is it a skunk? Yeah, skunk. Black cat and a skunk. Oh well. Here's what it is.
What's up, Jody?
I can't see anything that out of the ordinary. So,
Yeah, I suppose just keep an eye on it. Morning, Frank.
yeah, Waypoint, the debate tonight should be very interesting with Bubblehead and Trump.
There's a debate tonight.
Yeah, the first presidential debate. And Biden has changed the rules to the point where, originally was supposed to be a debate between he and Trump, and he was going to give a blood test for drugs and anything in his system and a cognitive test, and Trump was going to do the same thing, and Biden says, "Oh no, I'm not doing that."
As long as the rules of the debate are just the standard rules, like no
Well,
shouting,
normally they
interrupting.
are, but
Fine.
the candidates added that in.
Sure. Then they're unusual rules, aren't they, to a debate? You've got to wonder about that.
Well, and the committee that usually handles the debates, Biden wouldn't allow them to have anything to do with it. They're having CNN control the debate.
Wow. CNN, eh? And is it no audience or something? Isn't there a stipulation that also by
I don't think there's an audience.
Biden? No audience. Yeah, I think that was one of the conditions. An audience response, I think, would favour a populist candidate anyway. So I think it's fair enough. I don't like it really, but it's fair.
Well, you're never going to please the opposition,
CNN, I think, are about as biased as you're going to get for Biden.
Yes, exactly.
And CNN have been caught misrepresenting all sorts of views, all sorts of people that they disagree with. So much for the media being neutral.
Not in this country. Well, of course, I don't think it is in any country.
Exactly, yeah. It's the same in England.
You know, the sad part of it is until AI starts running the news, which I'm not for. Get me wrong,
Mm.
because you know they say that you can't get an honest coverage of everything. But however, AI is programmed by humans, so you can't. I don't know if you can totally get away from somebody's opinion being in something. You know.
Yeah.
Depends on how much control you give to the AI. If the AI is allowed to make up its own mind,
Yeah, and that's the problem. The problem is who's telling the AI what to do? Because the AI is just another tool. It never makes any decisions, but it will also, but it can be told to choose or favor a particular something or other, you
Or
know?
idea or ideology or all that stuff.
Indeed.
the
Yeah.
AI would have to be open to self-learning too, which means it would go out and find all the information it can find, and then it would come up with its own decision.
Well, the way I
Instead,
understand it, it's even though it's called self-learning, it just means that it tries to diversify its I don't know the word for it, but its data, where it gets its data from. It tries to figure out how to glean it as best as possible from all different areas.
what's up, Dustin?
I was going to ask you, Justin, is now that the kids are gone, how are the dogs handling that?
Oh, they're all right. They seem to be okay so
You
far.
still
So.
got your older daughter there, though, right?
No, they're all gone.
They're all gone. Okay.
Everybody's gone.
Well, because you know, usually the dogs miss somebody because they come and go and come and go, but it won't be long before they're going, well, where the hell, where are they at? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll be excited when they get home.
Sure. What is it? 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. That's not bad.
Hey Laura, how you doing? So,
The Yeah, the weather's supposed to be on again, off again this weekend here too. So I've been kind of keeping my eye out there and thinking, do I want to run the lawnmower around or no? Or because you know I have a zero turn, I can just get on it and ride it, and
it sounds like good fun. Have you
well,
lots to do?
it gets to be a lot of work after a while. It depends on how big a lawn you're doing. My
Mm,
lawn isn't bad. But then you got to get the weed whacker out. You can't do that while you're sitting. You got to walk around
yeah.
and I don't walk that well, you know. So
Have you got a nice big hat to put on as well to keep the sun off your head?
yeah, I have a baseball hat I wear.
Oh, okay, cool.
And the other thing too is I'm waiting for my new glasses.
Mm.
I mean, I can see fairly well with these glasses, these readers, but not as good as I should be able to.
Looks like Joe got the Boston cream Pop Tarts yesterday.
Oh,
We
did he?
did.
Yeah, he
So
sent
he's
me a
going to
picture.
report back.
He sent me a picture of him holding them.
Wow.
Did they look like that review? Do you remember the review pictures, Justin?
Oh, I
Did they
don't
look
know. He
bad?
didn't open them. He just showed me the box in his hand.
Oh, I see.
Maybe he'll come on and show us.
I hope so. I'm dying to know what they're like.
Mia went out. I gotta check on her. I'll be right back. No, you two, Michael and Justin. You
They'll
know
play
that
nice, don't worry.
the audience can't see it, right?
Angie said I'm done with external hard drives. They just break on me, so I'm trying out Dropbox for a month. Dude, what external hard drives you buying, Angie? They're breaking like that. I was reading her Facebook post.
Is it possible to jerry rig an M.2 drive to a SATA connection? I think you can, can't you?
What? Do what now?
Jerry rig an M.2 drive to a SATA connection, a SATA connection. Do you
Oh,
know
they
what
have M.2 drive
converters?
USB cases you can buy, and you can put the M.2s inside of them and then use them as
Oh, yeah.
external hard drives.
Yeah, that would be a good idea because they're quite solid, quite literally solid state.
Let me show you.
I've got a physical drive that I bought for £3. It's I think it's half a terabyte or something, or a quarter maybe.
Okay, so right here they have M.2 enclosures you can buy, and you
Oh
just
yeah,
slide them open,
yeah,
and then you
nice. Look at
pop it
that.
in there. And then they have some that have 2 slots, so you can copy one to another. But
Okay,
they're very inexpensive. I mean, M.2s
right.
are a little bit more,
It's
but
the
yeah,
drive that's going to crunch the. It's going to gobble up the money, isn't it? Because they're about £100 each for something decent sized.
it depends. Like to see this one has
Yeah, it's got
2
two,
slots.
but it doesn't include it's £128. It's a lot of money for just an enclosure, right?
Well, they're yeah, but there's a lot cheaper ones. That's just such an expensive
Sure.
one.
I like that one. It
But
looks like a valve. See that? It stood up. That's
yeah,
kind of cool.
but they got
Station.
if you buy one, it's I would say buy the double one because that always gives you the option that if you have like say your
A
computer
faulty one to transfer.
say your motherboard crashes or something happens, you can take your M.2 out, you can copy it to another one or something like
Yeah,
that.
it makes it useful. Good morning, Mark. Yeah.
Because technically you could take your whole hard drive and just copy it over to a new one and have your whole operating system and everything on there just in case something happens to the other one.
Yeah. There you go. Frank's had a couple of them.
But I'm wondering what kind of external hard drives Angie's been buying that they're breaking that often because I've never had that problem.
The thing is, even Western Digital, the decent ones, they eventually go, don't they? Because there was a thing
I
on
mean,
the internet. They do wear.
they do over time, but not to the point to where they should be breaking on you so consistently that you're that frustrated with them. Like it should be, you should be able to have an external hard drive for at least 2 to
Sure,
4 years.
but also the way that hard drives break is quite convenient actually because they tend to kind of fail percentage wise, don't they? They don't just suddenly go. So you can, it gives you an indicator that it's on the way out, and then you can take measures to transfer the data. You know, when you get bad sectors and all that sort of thing, you know, that's the time to get it replaced. In my
But
experience.
that's the thing is like if you're buying cheap ass external hard drives like SanDisk, I wouldn't buy an
Mm.
external hard drive from SanDisk. They might make good memory cards, but their external hard drives are garbage.
And Marty,
Okay.
I would
Frank
I would stick with Samsung or
and Lance,
West,
Lance is
Western
joining.
Digital.
Western
Hi, Lance.
Digital or also Seagate makes really good ones. What's up,
Seagate, yeah.
Lance? Yeah, but they shouldn't be breaking you on such a frequency that you're getting that frustrated with them. Obviously, either you're doing
Sure.
something, you might be doing something that's breaking them that you don't realize you're doing,
Yeah.
like you're
It
beating
it
them
might
around
be
in a
that there's not
bag or
enough.
something.
Well, there's not enough cooling. If there's not enough cooling on a hard drive, that can fuck it up, can't it? Quicker than normal.
I mean, if you're just copying video back and forth, that shouldn't really be an issue. Cause that's all she's using it for. I guarantee you, she's just putting her drone footage on it. Because there's some people that are, doing their editing on little laptops that don't have, they might only have 500 gigs, maybe a terabyte worth of memory. And so they don't want to store, 200-300 gigs of video on their computer. Well, like I said, even an external hard drive, they shouldn't be breaking on you at the extent that unless you're buying really cheap, crappy ones.
Hmm.
And that's the thing is a lot of people, if they don't realize what a good drive is, they might be going on Amazon and buying some unknown name brand from China
Sure. Yeah.
that, and oh, good deal. I can get a whole terabyte for $20.
Yeah,
When
that's
a
the
Western
problem.
Digital would cost you 50-60, right?
That's why it's easier to get scammed. And why I asked about the price of memory. Price is often a very good indicator that you're getting scammed. If it's too cheap, that's a flag. But if you're inexperienced, it's a minefield. Because the thing is, Amazon and AliExpress, their site is littered with scam drives. They haven't got rid of them. They haven't, figured out which one's a scam and throwing them off. It's a minefield.
Dustin, I asked you a question.
So I'll give you Chromebook, Dustin. I use Buffalo. What the hell's Buffalo? Never heard of that brand. Most of the time they tip over and the head gets stuck. You're talking about the disc-driven ones, right, Jody?
Disk drive, yeah.
Yeah, the ones
External
like I
hard
have.
drive, the ones in the tower.
Well, yeah, the external hard drives I have, they're not disc-driven.
Is Frank Rizzo Jody? Is it?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
just
As in
uses.
drone shots.
Yeah.
It's
just-
his work on his cell
No, if he's on his Frank account, that means he's on his cell phone and
On
he's
his
probably
cell
not
phone.
home. His
Here comes
drone
Lance.
shots account is what he's logged into on his computer.
I got you.
Hey Lance, how
What's
you
it
doing,
like
buddy?
in Hawaii? We should say aloha. Memory. Price is often a very good indicator that you're getting scammed.
You have YouTube playing.
You're
Got your YouTube playing, Lance.
in the background.
Experience. It's a minefield. Because the thing is, I can hear my stupid voice.
Good.
Ugh.
So how are things in Hawaii?
Good, warm, nice.
Warm, nice, yeah.
Well, what made you guys want to go to Hawaii?
Um,
You got
It's
family
close.
there or something?
no, it's close.
Okay.
We try to get out of town after school as much as we can.
Oh, there you go.
Buffalo. Never
Well, that's
heard of
nice.
that brand.
But yeah, this is good. I have a two terabyte for $100, and I have
2 terabyte version. Wow.
and I really like this. And Hot Rod kind of
Well, if you click on the bottom
Oh
down there,
yeah, that was the one you guys
2
were looking at
terabyte,
that
right?
day.
you change that over to 2 terabyte on the yeah, right there.
Yeah.
What's that?
139. Okay.
139, and
$139. Wow.
and it goes on sale. Maybe I have a 1 terabyte. Hold on, because yeah, 1 terabyte because it goes on sale to. No, it might be 2. I'm gonna go look right now. Because it goes on
You
sale
get 10
for 91.
You get 10 quid off, look, you see, as well. So it might have been 120. 129. See that?
So
Yeah, you get $10 off instantly.
I have one in right now. I've got a look here. Hold on. Let's see what this one
Just
is.
plug it in an external port, right?
Yeah, just like a USB drive.
Wow.
This is a 2 terabyte. Yeah, 2 terabyte. I got for 91 when it goes on sale. And it goes on sale probably 5 times a year. I'm guessing, it seems like every time I look, it's anywhere from 109 to 91. 139 is the most I've ever seen it, actually. Let's go back here. Stop sharing. But yeah, it's good. It's 3:43 right now in the morning, but this is about the
Oh,
time I
yeah.
normally get up anyway. So even back home.
Yeah, cause your internal clock isn't your watch.
Back my
Yeah,
cop.
out of the top 10 best rated external hard drives, Western Digital's got 4 of the spots out of the 10. These are all
I've
like
had
9.
I've had 2 Western Digital hard drives, external hard drives fail on me. 2.
Yeah, I've never had one. I've had multiple of those. I've never had one fail on me. I actually got 2 1 terabytes that are hooked up to my computer. I have little sleeves on the side of my computer that they slide in and it holds them nice and
Morning, Warren.
snugly up on the tower. So I never move them. They always sit in the same spot. But moving a drive around, even a little portable one, if you're moving it from bag to bag and it's getting beat around in there and stuff, yeah, I mean, you have a higher chance of it probably failing a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But like I said, I have 2 Western Digital 1 terabytes, but I have these little sleeves I bought off of Amazon that they slide into. They're little sticky pad sleeves. And they sit on they're stuck to the side of my tower and they slide in there and they never move. They just sit there. So I don't ever move them or unplug them.
Your memory sticks.
No, they're 1 terabyte external hard drives.
Okay.
I have a total of 4 terabytes on my computer,
That's a lot.
but I don't but I only got maybe 700, 800 gigs used out of the 4 terabytes I have.
Right.
I don't try to keep too much stuff on my computer. If I'm not using it, I delete it. Because I can always download it later if I need it, you know?
There's nothing wrong with having that much storage, you know.
Yeah, like I said, I don't even use half of it. I
Right.
actually only use about a quarter of it. But I just don't keep a lot. Like if I'm not using a program and I'm just like if I download it and I don't end up using it within the first, a couple months go by and I don't end up using it, I'll just delete it because I can always go back and re-download it. Just
Yeah.
like the video games. I got tons of games on Epic and Steam, but if I'm not playing it, I'm not going to have it downloaded. It will always be on my account, so I can always go back later and download it if I
Sure.
need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's the thing. It costs you money, doesn't it? You know, to store things.
well, the more crap you put on your computer, the slower your computer's gonna run too. If you start filling all your drives up, it's
It's
gonna
that as
start
well. But the thing
being
is,
sluggish.
isn't that truer with just a physical drive? I think it's truer to say that with a physical drive, it's slower the more stuff you have on it. But I'm not quite sure how true that is, or whether it's truer or less true if you have a solid state drive, you know? Because
Probably
it's
be the same.
searching at the speed of light, you know, which is pretty
Well, it's
rapid.
all about the write speed on it too. How fast can it move information?
Read, write. Yep.
Some are quick,
Right,
some are
yeah.
quicker than others.
You just don't know that you're born yet. I mean, hell, my first hard drive was 40 megabytes.
Yeah. I couldn't
Yeah,
even
I
do
remember
anything with download a
joking to
picture.
someone because I'd got a 1 terabyte drive, and I remember joking to him saying, "Hey, do you want anything stored?" You know, because I had the largest hard drive, 1 gigabyte.
Oh, I remember when I got a 500 gigabyte hard drive in my damn my original Xbox. Or my Xbox 360. I thought that was fucking massive. That ain't shit today. Even a 1
Yeah.
terabyte's nothing on a gaming system. You could fill that up after 6 games.
Right. But it was really nice having, it's switching your computer on and it's already there on your computer. You know, that's awesome. Technology.
So Justin, listen to this.
But
I bought a 286 a PC 286 back in from my dad back in
Late
uh,
80s, early
19
90s.
1988,
Yeah.
and I had it for about a week, and the hard drive died. It was 40 megs. The hard drive died. I had to go buy a new hard drive, $300 for 40 megs.
think about how much you can get for $300 now. It's like a 16 terabyte hard drive you could get. Well, not internal, but you could get an external for probably around that.
Yep.
You could probably get a 12 or 16 terabyte for that
Yeah.
price.
Trouble is, the stepper motors were always going.
Yep.
But at least that meant you could retrieve the data off the drive itself by
That's 40
replacing the stepper
megabytes.
motor.
Jesus, that's fucking tiny.
Yeah, but it was huge back then.
40 meg. Is
I
that
mean,
like
don't
that's
forget,
one MP?
The
Wow, isn't it?
computer had 32K
Do what, Michael?
of memory.
How big is an MP3? Just a regular track. That's about 40, isn't it? Or was that 2 MP3s?
A lot bigger now than it used to be.
Yeah. I don't know what the average size is, to be honest with you. Warren said I used to be obsessed with 32 gig thumb drives. Still use some occasionally for
They're still
portability.
cool now. Nothing wrong with a little thumb drive to put something on. But they're just not very big. That's the problem.
Oh, thumb drives too are like a dime a dozen now, dude. You can go on Amazon and get like 20 of them for like $10. 10,
Yeah, I've got a
15
2
bucks.
terabyte one.
It's like Hodges, he buys them by the bulk off of Amazon for his for his real estate business. He just gives, every time he gives the real estate agent pictures, he gives them a brand new thumb drive. And then they
How much
might
did your
occasionally.
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
But how much did your 2 terabyte thumb drive cost you, Mark?
Oh, I can't remember.
Was it expensive though? Was it like a lot of money?
Not particularly. Couldn't have been that expensive because I got 2 of them.
What's the
Right.
name brand on them?
I haven't the foggiest idea what its name is.
You
I'd
gotta
have to
be
find it.
careful though. You gotta be careful these days though, 'cause there's so many counterfeit ones out there that will put
Yeah.
little, they
I've
put
had
these
this
little.
for about 3 or 4 years.
Well, I'm saying like these days you got to be careful because they'll put those little boards in them that will
Yeah.
tell the computer it's a certain size. As all as it does is rewrite new information over the old information to make it seem like it's saving it, but you're actually losing the older shit you put on
Yeah,
there.
no, this predates them being able to do that.
And they've
They'll
always
be
been
like-
able to do it.
Well, they'll tell you it's like 5 terabytes, but then it'll be 64 gigs, and all it does is keep rewriting over the old information. So you think you're saving all that, but you're actually not.
Yeah, you got to be very careful.
That's why it's best when you buy stuff off Amazon, like buy it from the actual company store. Like if you're gonna buy SanDisk
Right.
memory
Yeah, because
cards,
you protect it then. You can get your money back
Right.
if something does happen.
buy it straight from SanDisk. And SanDisk actually has a lifetime warranty on their cards. If it fails, you can send it in. They'll give you a new one.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do it.
Wow,
though.
Lance, that's
yeah.
beautiful video.
What's up, Dre?
Yeah, this
Oh,
is
Lance
the
is showing a video.
signature,
Let's have a look.
signature hole hole
Oh,
16,
Andre.
Oh, look at that.
Hoypood Bay Golf.
That's the golf course, yeah.
Now, just to clarify, the reason why it looks
Sorry.
jumpy is not because Lance doesn't have the.
It's
It's because of the. It's because of the internet not being able to show it, isn't it?
internet. Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Zoom,
Okay.
Zoom and StreamYard all share video really crappy. It's not.
Could you show that
They're-
again? Sorry, Lance. Is there any chance you could pop that on again for me, please?
Yeah, one of the other reasons it can do that is because of the codec. If you do it in H.265 instead of H.264, sometimes the processors can't handle it.
But like if you were sitting in
Needs a
front of
lot more
Lance's,
processing power.
if you were sitting in front of Lance's computer right now as he's sharing it, it would look
Yeah, it'd be
perfect on
smooth.
his screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
it's
fucking
perfectly
Zoom is
Isn't that
shitty.
beautiful?
Isn't it though? Do you play golf, Lance, or not?
I do. I do.
You do. Wow.
StreamYard's even worse at sharing video
Which
than
course
Zoom
is that, Lance?
This is Poipu
Oh yeah,
Bay-
Mark plays golf.
Poipu Bay Golf Course.
Waku Bay.
Poipu, yeah. Poipu.
Yeah.
You can look it up on the internet and see this is hole 15 that you're seeing here. But then 16 starts here, and this is the
It's
signature.
enormous. And there's a water. Well, there's a little tiny
Yeah, the
lake
shore.
type thing.
Were you on the golf course when you were flying, or did you stand outside the golf course? in
No,
Florida?
I'm over here. I'm outside. There's a road right here
Oh
along
oh,
the,
yeah, I see the road now. Look. The cars on it.
and I'm about
Man, look
right,
at
I'm
that
about
view
right
while
there.
you're golfing, man. You could just pull your cart over to the side and just sit there
And
and
I'm
enjoy that.
staying about right here.
What's your
Now,
handicap?
is the ocean eating away at that golf course, or is that just the way it looks? Are they like losing land
Well,
over time?
the edge of all those
It
islands.
certainly
are
looks like
mostly-
it, doesn't it?
Are mostly Lance. The edge of most of those islands are lava, right?
Well, I know that,
Old
but I'm
lava.
saying it looks like it's like getting ate away, or if that's just the way it looks all the time. That's all I'm curious.
think
That's
to some
probably the way it
extent-
was designed.
I think to some extent, the water is always going to be kind of eroding the shore somehow, but it's just the speed of that erosion. Certain materials like sandstone get eroded very quickly and washed away.
Oh, most of those islands are nothing but fucking lava rock underneath.
Right, yeah, that's how they were formed in the first
Lava's
place.
fairly hard. Doesn't wear away that much.
Yeah,
Lava rock makes a good base for barbecues too.
Yeah,
People
it's
will
like
line their
fireproof.
barbecues with it.
That's
igneous
what I've
rock.
got on mine.
Well, you know, when they do a pig roast outdoor, they don't they put lava rocks in the bottom of that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they heat
that's
them
what-
up first, don't
Holds
they?
the heat really well.
I've seen a lot of people use them in propane grills too when I was living in California. Because where I
Yeah.
lived in Southern California, there was a lot of lava rock out on the ground through the desert, and you could just go pick up big chunks of it. People used to go get it all the time, and they'd line their propane grills and different grills with it.
Ah,
at the
Draymond's
bottom.
in the chat. Though.
Great.
So what's your handicap, Lance?
Say that again, Mark.
What's your
Hey, Dre.
handicap?
Hold one more time.
What's your handicap?
What is your
Dusty?
handicap?
Oh, I'm about a 15. I had back surgery in 2015, and they fused my L4 and L5 together. I don't have a
That-
backswing anymore.
That joke
Right.
went right over their head, Lance.
I was about a 7 at one point, but I don't play as much either as so it's
Yeah, no, I don't
Combination
play as
of my-
much.
back and my non-playing as much.
I
How
don't
about you,
play as
Mark?
much as I would like to now because of my eyes, but I got down to 13 when
I
I
could
was
just hit the
playing,
golf ball wherever it goes, it goes.
and my best round was 6 over.
My handicap is I've never played golf before, so I should imagine that would be quite a handicap. I couldn't do it.
Who said it? Some comedian said a golf course is something about a bad walk. Like it's
Oh yeah, no, it's a nice walk ruined or something like that, right?
yeah,
I think I don't think it was a comedian. I think it was a politician. It was one of those things.
yeah. It was.
was-
It was like it was one of our presidents, I think.
Right, yeah. The nice walk ruined.
Mhm.
Hey, Michael.
Oh, hey, Draymond, how you doing, buddy?
What did Gary say? I missed that part when you asked Gary about having me come on the panel.
Oh no, I didn't ask. I pointed out that you were, from a
Oh,
subject matter perspective, a very interesting person to be talking with.
yeah,
But I brought it up on the Drone and Sundry thing and gave him a link to your website and just let the chips fall where they may. So no doubt
yeah,
he'll be, doing something or other.
yeah, yeah.
But
We'll
yeah,
see.
that should be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. But good luck anyway. And the thing is,
Well,
it's always nice to be able to exchange
I appreciate
information.
I appreciate you advocating on my behalf. But like I said, I know when it comes to live streams, certain people like a certain type of company or panel
Right.
that's pretty
Yeah.
much on a certain side of things. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I think that if it's interesting, it's interesting. There isn't much gatekeeping going on there, but
yeah.
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to say. In fact, if anything, it's like a brag, saying that here's this cool guy who does this for a living. I know
Hmm.
him. His name's
Right.
Draymond, and it's makes me look good because I know fuck all about drones. You know,
Hmm.
I'm one of the I suppose refer to myself sometimes as as like I forget the word. Um, but yeah, I'm a fixed wing kind of pilot and a glider pilot. But
Right.
drones, I mean, I have I've owned two drones, and I have one of them at the moment, and the other one's kicking about somewhere. And I last time I flew a drone was like a year ago, but I've been hammering the slope soaring last
Right.
summer, and fully intend to do the same thing again this year.
Okay. Well, like
By
anything
the
else,
way,
you put the time in, it'll come to you.
Yeah, indeed. I don't think I'm a bad drone pilot, to be honest. I think I'm okay. Um, but um, but slope soaring, I can do that in my sleep.
Hmm.
It just feels natural.
Uh,
Lance,
And
that's
Lance, is
really
this in
nice looking
Hawaii
there.
or where?
Yes, this is Dre. This is the clubhouse at Poipu Bay,
Okay, which
golf
island is this
course,
on? The main island or
Kauai.
Kauai, way
Hawaii?
to the north.
Yeah, because I'm close. My wife wants to go next year for spring break, and I'm having a heck of a time trying to secure a spot. And I'm just trying to make sure if I go to one of the smaller islands, what's available to do.
Yeah, there's if you like to snorkel or you want to try it, it's way cool. Um, boogie boarding, lying on the beach. Honolulu Bay is way cool, Dre. It's probably the nicest beach, one of the nicest beaches that I like anyway. It's kind of
Right.
a and that's a little north of Kauai, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
was trying to.
shopping.
Yeah.
I'm sure your wife would like to, walk
Oh,
around the
always,
shops and yeah.
always. Anything that spends my money, she enjoys.
by the way, the quote "Golf is a good walk" spoil was penned by Samuel Longhorn Clements,
there you go.
better
Something
known
like
as
that.
Mark Twain.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, it sounds like a
Yeah,
Mark Twain
That's
quote.
right. It was Mark Twain. I remember that now.
a good walk ruined. I like it. Thank you, Mark.
Howdy, Mr. Frank. In the chat there. No, last I tried to call, book a spot. Was it last month? They said everything in the month of March of next year was already booked. I said, how is that possible? And they're like, some people just call the right time, right space. And I'm like, crap. So we might have to go after next May when school lets out and just secure a spot then. But that's on her bucket list to go to Hawaii. I've already been courtesy of the United States Marine Corps, so been there, done that.
Good morning, David. Well, afternoon, David Birdman.
Yeah. Where did Justin run off to? I heard him talking about you guys talking about hard drive fun. Did you ever drive fail on you, Lance?
Say
And
that again.
it wasn't Lance. One of Justin's friends was messaging him
Oh,
about a physical
no,
drive
no,
that
no,
broke.
no. They weren't messaging me. I was reading Angie's
Okay.
post on Facebook. She was talking about she had external hard drives. Every one of them keeps failing on her.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like,
Yeah.
well, they shouldn't be failing at that rate unless you're buying really cheap, no
Yeah, well,
name ones.
it's almost like in cycles. Each brand, Western Digital, I don't know what it is. It seems like they come out with some nice drives for a while, then all of a sudden they get a bad batch and they start failing, and then nobody wants to touch them for a while. Then same thing happens to another brand, Western Digital or somebody else. You know, it just like goes in cycles with them. And you never know. It's like right now, when we had the even was portable, it was used to be the old platter drive still, but now you got the SSD portable ones, which are supposed to be more durable to carry around and attach to whatever device you want to attach it to. It could be even a
What's
phone,
up, Al?
and you can have even up to a
Well,
terabyte or more.
Lance was showing us, what was the name brand, Lance? That
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah, and it looked good as well. It looked really
Terabyte.
good. It's a thumb drive, which how much was it? 100 and with a 10 quid off, it was 120 something dollars.
So
For 2
a 2
terabytes.
terabyte, Dre, 2 terabyte, I've gotten the Buffalo for 91 on Amazon at one point. So it goes on sale at least to 91 for
Yeah,
2 terabyte.
2 terabytes even now because I bought a 4 terabyte for a music streamer I have, and I paid. I don't think it was $100. I think I paid about 80 for 4 terabyte. No, it was 2 terabyte. I'm sorry. Was it? I think it was 2 terabyte. 2 terabyte.
About to say $80 is a pretty damn good deal for 4 terabytes.
Yeah, it was. It was a 2 terabyte bought for a music streamer I have, and to put in that because like I tell everybody, no matter what device, if you're transferring data, yeah, that's a turtle. If you're
That's a big
transferring
ass
data,
turtle.
To that
it's always
turtle.
best to have it on
Yes.
a local drive as possible.
Can you zoom back in on that?
And that's not even a big sea turtle. They've seen some that are like the size of fucking cars that have been in the ocean for
Well, he looks
a
big.
long time.
You know, when you let it go and it zooms back out.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking this turtle probably came on the beach to lay some eggs, and these people are interrupting this process.
Yeah.
And he's probably thinking, "What the heck is going on here? I just came to this, have a little birth here."
Yeah, it was a
Oh,
private.
and there's some beaches where they'll come and lay thousands of eggs, and they'll
Right.
actually block the beaches off. Nobody's allowed to be on them or anything.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Hi,
why I'm
Al.
surprised they're letting people get that close to the turtle.
Dre,
I said,
Dre, I would hope that if it was coming to lay eggs, it would have been a she, not a he.
well, like I said, I don't know how to tell the difference, so I'm not going to sit here and try to qualify it.
Yeah, well, he's tend not to lay eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Martin has that
That's
say.
what they say until one does.
That's a beautiful complex right there.
I lost my wedding ring right here, somewhere in this bay, back in
Damn.
1888.
Did you find it?
Never found it.
There are people with metal detectors who will go and have a little shufty for you. I've seen it online. If you know the rough area where you lost it, they'll go with a metal detector out in the water and get the old beep beep beep.
Now, how long ago was this shot, Lance?
2 days ago.
Oh, 2 days ago? Okay.
He's out there right now, Dre.
Oh, well, lucky you.
So best hot dogs in the world right here in this building. You guys see my mouse?
Okay.
Puka dog. Puka dog. They are so good.
Puka dog. That sounds like polka dog to me. Puka dog.
They didn't sound good.
Don't fly over anyone. Oh, I'm right in between them. Good.
There you go.
And I'm right here. Right there.
Yeah, like I said, I actually want to go to Honolulu because I want to go see the Arizona and some of the other,
Yeah. Yeah.
other tourist stuff. But I know the other islands have nice things and stuff. But I'm just trying to, if we plan on going. We're going to spend about a week, and just trying to have something to do at least a couple of days of the week. As I know I'm not a real big beach goer. My wife talks like she is, but she don't and stuff. So other than her going on shopping sprees, I need to have something else to distract her with.
So this is called Brennicke's. It's a big
Mhm.
like tavern. But
Right.
right here in this corner is where Puka Dog is.
Hmm.
And the line reaches to here when it's busy, all
Wow.
the way here and inside the
Mhm.
the restaurant.
You see those
This-
gazebos? That's a $10 million small family home there.
This structure, see the pub, that box kind of building with a car park next to it is synonymous with uh, drinkers, like pubs, what I would call a pub in the United States. A lot of them seem to be like that, out on the highway or something. There's a big square building, and you go in, there's a pool table. Not that I've ever been to America, by the way, full disclosure here. But they seem to be like that. Whenever you see one in a film, it's always a square building. They go in, pool table, bar, in exactly the same place, and a car park.
There you go, Paul.
Well, that's the Americana, Michael, where cars are king. So we don't,
Right.
we don't have unless you go to an East Coast city. Uh, then you'll see more pubs that are in the middle of a block or maybe a corner
That
that
damn
people
thing.
walk to. It's just a
Oh, yeah.
matter of the type
Look
of
at that.
city
It's
and what it
like
emulates.
that is like
Yeah.
15 people long. My goodness, look at all that.
Yeah,
Dude, it's a smart car for
it's
the
big as a
ocean.
smart car.
That thing's huge. I've seen one of some people on boats that took video of one right over the edge of their boat,
Mhm.
and I'm not even joking. They were the size of like Donald's buggy,
Mm.
just fucking massive. But them turtles are probably 200-300 years old, man. Those things will live for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, Michael. If you go to like cities like Boston, in a lot of the New England areas, you'll see pubs that reflect more of the UK style
Right.
of
Yeah.
cities and so forth. The only West Coast city that reflects a East Coast city is San Francisco. San Francisco
Okay.
is built like a East Coast city.
And by East Coast, the style would be the square building
Well, no, we'll be
type pub.
square about. But what I'm saying is that you'll have everything's built like in a walking distance environment.
Oh, got you. Okay.
In other
Rather
words,
than it being
cars are not the dominant way of travel
got you.
in San Francisco. It's more like San Francisco, like East Coast. You have the subways, the L trains, and stuff like that. In San Francisco, they have the trolleys and that nature. Where driving a car is more of I would say more of a, I don't want to use the word hazard, but it's more
Got you.
confining to drive a car in San Francisco like it is on the East Coast.
I get it. So what's going on there is the form following the function, and the function being the automobile and the access to the building. I get it. So
Yes,
that's what's influencing the style initially. And
right.
that's the solid basis on which the style is
That
built.
is
That's
it.
interesting.
Because you go to other cities up and down the West Coast, even in Lance's hometown of Washington. I've lived in
Like
Portland,
clear
Oregon,
water.
for back in the '80s, early '90s. I've been to Frisco. I've been to several other cities up and down the West Coast, and it's predominantly built around motor vehicles.
That's some
Nice.
nice
See,
footage
that's
there.
interesting. I like that. Thank you, thank you, Joe.
And that's why on the West Coast, it is such a big deal about putting in high speed trains, all that kind of stuff. You have a few
Yeah.
similar type trains on the East Coast, but not out west.
Right.
And that's why I feel where America really failed itself as far as mass transit is how our rail system doesn't even come close to what you guys have over in UK or especially
Yeah.
Europe, where you got trains going every different direction because that was the main source of transportation.
That's
when
right.
you
Yeah,
went
it really
outside-
featured.
When you went outside of your local area, was you caught a train. That's
Oh
not
yeah,
the
if you ever looked at the train tracks, like the coverage of the UK, how much
Yeah.
like
Mm.
coverage they have, and then ours is very slim.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can get trains everywhere in the UK.
Well, it
Yeah.
used to
Available.
be a lot bigger back
Great
in the day because
network.
there's thousands of miles of abandoned rail line.
right. But I mean, the main lines we
Uh,
have here in America there's only about 3 to 4 total that take you from the East Coast to the West Coast. And that's why I would really like to take a trip on a train, but it's so expensive. It's more almost as more expensive as to fly.
Oh, yeah, I've priced trains before going from here to California,
Yeah,
and they were more expensive than it was to take a plane
yeah.
two-way.
I know that there was a Top Gear experiment where, for the price of I think don't quote me on this because I'm a bit cloudy on the details, but I think it's for the price of 4 train tickets. They bought a second-hand car and got themselves there for half the price, or
Hmm.
something. It
Yeah,
was a demonstration of how expensive. And I
right.
think they
Well,
flogged the car. When they got to their destination, they sold the car again at a loss,
Mhm.
but just recouped a bit of fundage.
that's because
Yeah,
our
interesting.
tracks are more used for freight than actual transportation. That's why.
Right. That's part of the whole thing. But I'm saying just as our country evolved from the late 1800s into the early
Morning,
1900s,
Jonathan.
especially when the automobile was developed. I say coming out once you get past Chicago, it was all about highways.
Yeah.
Especially after
Mm.
World War II. If you go back and look at the Eisenhower administration, which was the largest infrastructure bill in America, where that's what they focus on, building highways across America.
Yeah, because the only ones that have any really good transportation are usually the big cities. Like they'll have bus lines and subways,
Right.
but
Hmm.
all these little small towns around the US, I mean, you have to have a vehicle to get around. There is no
Yeah.
public
Yeah.
transportation.
And it's just the opposite there in the UK and the rest of Europe, where train lines come through everywhere. You know.
Oh, I don't, I would say they didn't really embrace vehicles as much as we did, I would say.
No, they
Because like I
don't.
said,
They never
like I
have.
was, like I was telling Mark and them, I was like, dude, if you come to a house in the US, there could be 2 people living in a house and they'll have fucking 4 cars in the driveway.
Hmm.
It's like, you'll have
Yeah.
4 vehicles between 2 people. It's like, Jesus, like, the amount of vehicles that are over here are insane.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, just like my household. I mean, everybody has a car in my house. It's 4 cars in my house.
Right.
You know, my daughters have their own car. My wife drives her own car. I have my own car. And there is not a bus line that runs near my home.
Right. And that's what I said. And then if you're living in a smaller city, the
Hmm.
bus lines don't run 24/7. So if you're somebody that works at, night
Hmm.
shifts, you're
Right.
screwed. There is no getting there and getting home by a bus. You have to literally have somebody drive you or take a Uber or something.
Yeah. Good morning, Jonathan and Al.
Oh, happy birthday, Dustin.
Yeah. So that's why I just explained to Michael how
What's up,
even our
Jonathan?
country here is built depending on which coast that you're in, even in the northern states, even down south, on what you may see the differences
Yeah.
that are there.
Well, I think one of the problem with the European countries too, why vehicles really aren't as prevalent either, is because their roads weren't really designed for them. Where we were
Right.
kind of in the process of designing our cities and highways when
Yeah, you
cars
could
just
start from
started.
scratch. Yeah,
Right.
that's an important thing. Yeah.
Well,
You
like I
guys
say,
were,
the
your
post the
cities,
post World War II was the time, even here in America, where we built a lot of highways and roads. And you got to
right.
think of the mass destruction that occurred across Europe and in the UK and during World War II. That was the opportunity
Yeah.
to expand roads.
I said
Redesign
that
it.
like,
Yeah.
did I not? I said that like 3 or 4 months ago when we were having this conversation. I said the same thing. I said after World War II, you
Yeah,
guys should have redesigned your cities
yeah,
and made them more because their streets are so narrow because they were never
Right.
designed for vehicles.
Yeah. And that
Right.
even
And they
influences
did.
the size of the vehicles. You know, the
Mhm.
size of the vehicles in England, Europe are smaller simply because of the streets.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's the way it is on the East Coast and the northern East Coast when you'll start going from cities. I would say anything north of DC, you start seeing the roads are narrow, especially in neighborhoods where you only have cars can only park on one side of the street.
Yeah. What's interesting is how that form follows the function.
Yeah.
Because honestly, that would look like Dre said, that would have been the time for you guys to redesign your cities because
hmm
I mean, there was a lot of cities that were 80 to 100% completely ruined. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just
Coventry
on
was
nothing but
almost wiped
rubble.
off the map.
Yeah. I mean, that's the approach we did here, as far as which kept our economy booming for the next 40 years was the infrastructure plans that went in during the Eisenhower administration, as far as building roads, building dams, and all these different things that were occurring across the planet because of the destruction of World War II. And here in America, we just had open land to develop.
Well, we have the largest highway system too. It was like what,
Right.
four
Well,
and a
that's
half
what I'm saying.
million miles or something?
Right. And that's because of what we had invested in back in the late 40s and early 50s and so forth. But I'm saying because of that infrastructure, it kept people employed for the next 40 years into the 60s, early 70s and stuff. You're talking about projects that lasted. You can go work for like the Hoover Dam. There are people who started there at the bottom and retired there, building the Hoover Dam.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
have an
20
average of
plus year project.
we have a total length that was estimated to be around 4.17 million statute miles
hmm
in the United States of roadway.
Yeah. So I mean, there were a lot of projects that went on that sustained the economy through I'd say to the late 40s all the way into the late 60s and early 70s, where that's what people talk about. Oh, I remember back. I said, but the thing is here, we don't have such projects anymore. So you don't have such plants and industrial companies that are producing the goods and the materials to do these type of work. But we're just not doing it like
Well,
we used
I
to.
wouldn't say we are not doing big construction. If anything, we're just redoing ones we've already had.
Well,
'Cause you see a lot
that's
of
the whole plan.
expansion projects,
Yeah, I mean that's the whole
like on
plan.
highways.
Is that now that all that infrastructure that was built during that time needs to be redone because it's aged.
Right.
You know,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
actually, I mean, you look, I can say even the bridge we're doing here that I do shots of, it was originally built, I want to say late 30s. It was built early 40s, and people think it's supposed to last forever. I said, no, you got to, if you
Most
ain't
bridges are
maintain it,
50
right?
to 100 years. That's it.
Yeah, I say, if you're not maintaining it at a certain level all the time, eventually it's going to need to be replaced.
And there's a lot of small towns and cities now that aren't replacing bridges anymore.
Yeah.
They're either going around where the bridges were or they're just closing those highways and building something else because they don't have the money to rebuild it.
Yeah. Well,
It's just
that's
too much
that,
money.
and that's where people don't really get the, I want to say the need for government, but this is part of what the government creates. Now I tell people, I said, your local cities and counties or whatever you may live in, they don't have the capital themselves to do large infrastructure projects. That's why development is so key. So you get these developers to come in and you require them to upgrade the infrastructure, which means I'm talking about electrical, sewer, storm drains, all this time, and you require them to do the upgrades in that area where they're developing at. And this is how your community continues to grow, continues to get better, is because you put that burden of doing better road and everything else on
Do you
development.
get road tax? And is it a thing in America? Road tax?
Probably certain states, I'm sure.
Certain states that goes by state. Like I say, a lot of the New England area, I'm not sure in Justin there where they charge tolls. They don't do actual
Yeah, we have
tax.
toll roads.
Yeah, you have toll, and I say on the East Coast that is That is predominant. Out west,
But
it's rare.
to be honest, though, toll roads tend to be actually owned privately. And then
Some
they
are not.
share the, yeah, then
Yeah.
what they do is they share the tolls with the state. State gets a
Right.
certain percentage and then the company that owns the roads. But
Yeah.
I know here in Florida, the toll roads tend to be very well maintained
Oh yeah. You
and
paying
they're
for it.
they're very clean and usually there's no backups on those
Right.
like
Because
there is on
and the reason it's
state
like here in
ones.
California, the toll roads are usually, like you said, there's really no traffic on them because we're so used to not having to pay tolls. That
Well,
you
there's
get
a
a
lot
toll
of cheap
road,
people out there aren't
and
gonna
well,
pay.
I said it's always going to be cheap people, but I mean, in the New England area, it's a way of life. You can't get anywhere without paying a toll. Okay, so you grow up in that environment from decades past, but now
Right.
you come out like, so for me, like when I was stationed in New Hampshire, dude, even though it was only a 15 cent toll thing that I took when I lived in Dover, New Hampshire, to go into Portsmouth, it was just weird. Me having to go 5 miles and pay 15 cents either way. Because I
And you
grew up,
know,
you didn't pay nothing, and I could drive to LA and all this kind of stuff. It don't cost me a dime but the gas I put in my car.
and you know what really sucks is when you go to get off of the highway and you have to pay a toll just to get off the fucking highway.
Oh yeah, well that was a big thing when I went to
A
go
prisoner.
vacation in Galveston, Texas,
Yeah.
and I went to Sugarland. Okay, my wife's family had a reunion in Sugarland, Texas, and I got on the George Bush, whatever it's called, highway. Dude, I was not on that highway no more than about maybe 4 miles, Justin. Got hit with 4 tolls in
Yep.
a 4 mile span. I feel like I was getting robbed, dude. I'm like, every time I was like, what? And it wasn't like 15 cents. Then I'm paying like $3 or $4.
Jeez. See,
See,
once
that's
you're on
what
the road, that's like a fucking hostage situation, then, isn't it?
Yes,
You know,
because
what
you
are you
can't
gonna
get
do?
off.
Fly off?
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
You can't escape it. I'm like, what a
well,
rip. But when once again, my mentality comes from the environment I grew up in out in California, where there hardly are any toll roads. I accidentally got on one 2 weeks ago, coming from Irvine, California, coming back home, and it's because of my car GPS told me to get on here because I was not intending to get on the toll road and stuff.
But there are
I was,
signs.
I
There'll be
was kind of
signs.
ticked. I was kind of ticked off because I knew I could have said, "Oh, let's get on this one. We'll get to the 5791. We'll be back home in about an hour." The toll road saved me about 30, 40 minutes drive and stuff, which was nice. But then I had to worry about, oh, now I got to pay the toll fee. I didn't have in California, have a little cool thing that fits on your windshield. If you have an account with the state, to automatically debit your account. So when I got home, I had to get on the internet, try to find out where I got paid this toll at. And like I say, it's a time process. So at the time I enter all my information in, they didn't even have it in their system. So I went ahead and had to sign up with an account with my ATM card. So when it did pop up, whenever it was 3 or 4 days later, they get deducted from my account. So I wouldn't forget about it, and it'd be like almost a $200 fine.
Right.
well, that's the one good thing about the toll roads here in Florida. So what they've done is since we get so many people from other states and stuff driving
Right.
here,
You get tourists, yeah.
they pay the full tolls, but if you're a Florida resident and you have a
Mhm.
Florida license plate, you only have to pay half the toll.
Yeah, because I said I don't know what happened. Like I said, when I went to Virginia in the DC area, I got caught on a toll road, didn't realize it, but I was in a rental car. So I'm like, oh well, they'll contact the rental company and they'll have to add it onto my bill or whatever and stuff because they don't ain't like they make an announcement, or something, comes up say, hey, dumbass, you're on a toll road. You should have got off at the last exit.
Well, and that's the thing is if you don't carry a roll of quarters or something in your car,
Yeah.
sometimes you'll go through those tolls and now a lot of them are unmanned now and you have to have
Yes.
exact change.
And that's exactly what happened.
Otherwise you have to just run it and pay it later. I mean, that's your
right. And
only
that's
two
what happened when I was
options.
in DC is that I came to the toll thing and I'm reaching my pocket to pay. It's an unmanned toll thing, and the guy behind me almost rear-ended me because he's wondering why I'm stopping.
Right, yeah,
Because you just supposed to drive through and the electronic camera catches your plate.
right.
Yeah, that's some dumb stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like that a lot of our toll roads too, there are some manned ones, but they're very far few in between. And so
Yeah.
if you don't have a thing, your only two options is either you have to make sure you get a roll of quarters where you get on the road. Otherwise, you're gonna end up running them. Like I got stuck on they added a toll road to a highway that hadn't had one before. And when I was going to Lakeland one day, I put my GPS on because I wasn't sure where this doctor's office was. And it took me onto the highway that didn't originally have a toll road, but they just added one, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any change on me, and I ended up running two of them
Mm-hmm.
to get to the doctor's office. And then I got a thing in the mail, but luckily they only charged me $5 for each toll, so
Yeah.
it wasn't that big
Yeah.
of a. It wasn't like I had to pay like $100 or nothing. It
Yeah.
was
I say my,
$5.
because I signed up for the account, I think they charged me like $7.
Yeah,
So,
mine was the
yeah.
price of the toll and then double that.
Mm,
So it was like if it's $1, they'll charge you $3.
yeah.
They charge you the original dollar plus twice the amount of the toll for running it, which wasn't bad. I mean, $10, I wasn't stressing on that. I was like, okay. So,
Yeah.
but that's the one good thing about our toll roads. Like I said, with all the tourists, they pay full price, but like if it's $1 to go through a toll, we only have to pay 50 cents.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Sounds awkward. I mean, if you put in your sat nav and tick the box that says avoid toll roads, it could take you forever to get places.
oh yeah,
Yep. But like I say, it's nice to have that choice. Like I say, and my wife said that. I said, when you put in, I guess I think I just hit home, return to home where I was at, and didn't specify no tolls, and
Yeah,
it
the
put me on
choice
the
is
toll
good.
road. And I'm like, ain't this about something? My own car is
what's up,
ripping me
TJ?
off.
Well, that's what happened with me is I did avoid tolls, but then like I said, the Google hadn't updated that they added a toll to this highway, and I knew there wasn't one there before because I've been on that
Mm-hmm.
highway tons of times. But then they
Yeah.
just turned it into a toll road, and
Yeah.
a lot of the tolls didn't even look like they were operated, like turned on yet. Like a lot of the cameras were covered and shit with plastic still because they were in
Mm-hmm.
the middle of. But apparently, I ran two of them that were hooked up because they caught me
Yeah.
going through
Yeah.
I mean, we have very few toll roads, but we do have a few bridges and tunnels where there's a toll to go through them.
Well, they're big money makers for states, though too.
Yeah, well, California, it's still iffy that like I said the jury's still out because there's still a predominant way to get around California is the regular highway system, and like you say, people are not going to pay unless they're commuters who go in and out of those areas on a regular basis, going to work or things of that nature. But like if people say, if it's only 15 minutes, 20 minutes difference, I'm gonna do that 20 minutes difference and keep my money in my pocket.
You know what people really got pissed off in the one city was Chicago. So Chicago's dumbasses, what they did was they have all the little like parking meters and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the city sold it to a company in Dubai or Saudi Arabia, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And so now the residents, when they're paying tickets for not paying the meters or any of the money that's being paid into the meters, it's all going to this company in Dubai.
Yeah, it's a split
And
difference.
and they were pissed because the city sold it to them on a 50-year lease. Well, the
Yeah.
city's losing a bunch of money now because of it. There was a way for
Well,
them to get some quick
I don't know
cash.
what's in their deal, but that was one of the propositions I had put forward when I ran for office because we had a new courthouse being built, and I knew they had shut down some other courthouses in neighboring cities, and I said, "You're going to have all these additional people coming into our city to handle their legal business because they're not going to these other cities." And that means if you create a parking zone around the courthouse area, which we have two courthouses in my city, that those people, should pay for the maintenance of whatever the roads and pay for the extra parking enforcement and all this kind of stuff can be budgeted through the parking meter service. Now, once again, yeah, lease it out to a company to operate it and maintain it, but the city gets a certain cut and the company gets a certain cut, which is supposed to be the company going to get the 51% or higher amount and stuff, and the city gets its share of it. But it all depends who's actually paying for it, and that's what I'm saying. You may have, and I always try to explain to them. I said you can't go down to any beach city in California and park for free.
Oh yeah, it's
You're gonna pay. You're gonna pay a meter, no matter what.
and
How?
if there is any free parking, good luck
Right.
finding a spot.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You'll be walking a couple blocks, miles, or whatever, trying to get a spot down by any beach city. And I said, we know we got people coming here for a purpose. Why not use that opportunity to offset? My thing is, as a city, you cannot make a profit, okay? But you can have certain devices or different situations to where you can have people pay fees or what it's like when you go out, you want to do something in a park, you get a permit. The permit costs money, and that is to offset the cost of operating that park. You pay for the maintenance crew, you're paying for the water, all that kind of stuff to maintain that park, and that's why they issue out permits for birthday parties or events or whatever you want to have to say. And I said the same thing here. These people are coming in from their outside cities to conduct legal business here in our city, and why not charge them to park here because they're taking up spaces in our downtown area. And I said that's the only way. That's the way you offset your regular general fund budget for paying for patrols, paying for street maintenance, which is going to get overly used because now you have all these additional people come into your city.
Well,
You
Dre,
know who?
I just want to say I have a way around your little money making racket there.
Yeah,
Take a monopoly board with you, and then when you want to park, you put it out and just put one wheel over the free parking. Sorted.
You know,
The trick is making sure that the right people pay for the right things, and
Yes.
Right.
vice versa. That the people that if you're not involved with it, you don't pay for it.
Well,
right.
see
That's what I
what
said. You create a parking area, which is my idea was around the courthouses. There's 2 courthouses there, and it basically takes up about a 4-block area. And I said that's the parking area. You put your parking meters of this 4-block area, and even though you may have, as you guys call parking parks, if you want to park in one of the park areas, or we call parking structures here in America, you get charged a fee to park your car in.
see where Chicago fucked up was they took a couple $100 million as quick money for a
Mhm.
50-year lease on their parking meters. But guess what? The city wasn't cut in on that. It was a one-time buy. Like, we'll give you a
Mm.
couple $100 million, you give us a 50-year lease, we get all the
Yeah.
money for it. And guess
Yeah.
who still has to pay for those roads and pay
Yeah.
for the parking meters, the meter readers and the police officers that have to
Mhm.
go out and write those tickets? They're not getting any money from that.
Yeah, see that was a poor,
See,
that was
and they
a poor deal.
completely screwed themselves
Yeah, they did. You always want
just
to be
to
able
take
get
some quick money
Yeah,
that
and
city would
that's
have
the
spent
sad
in a
part.
year.
And that's the
You know?
sad part. That's the same thing our city did when they sold off the refuse department to a private vendor, and so that's where we're at now. That when we had the refuse department in the internal in the city, there was a lot of things we could do. If we had a spill or something like that, I can always call over and say, "Hey, I need a rear loader, blah blah blah. Send me a street sweeper, blah blah blah. All this kind of stuff. We need to get this cleaned up." Can't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's bad when you're 100% of the money's going straight to that company, especially a
Yeah, well,
Ford
the whole deal,
company,
like the whole thing
and it's
was,
ridiculous.
like I said, the city was hurting. They needed money, and they sold the whole thing, kid and caboodle, Justin. I mean,
And
not just the service, they even gave them the trucks. We can't even get it back because the city cannot afford to buy the number of trucks to restart the refuse department again. We gave them the trucks, everything.
well, that's what I'm saying is like the way Chicago did, it wasn't like it was, they were going to get enough money that would last them 50 years. That's enough money to last them maybe a half a year. And
Yeah.
then they would have spent it all and then they have
Mhm.
nothing.
Right.
And then
That's why you never want to
yeah.
make deals like that. You never want to make a deal like that.
I mean, you're talking about a city like Chicago, they're yearly budget just for operating is probably well over $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And I guess,
that's
like I
nothing.
say, that's the old can't see the forest for the tree mentality, where you cut yourself off and don't realize it, that the long-term responsibilities are still sitting in your lap.
Well, and don't you also think too that certain
No,
places
Jonathan?
like New York City and like Chicago and some of these big cities, they're corrupt as hell.
Yeah, you have that element too, Paul. I'm just trying to keep on the surface that if everything worked as it should, this is what you still got to think about. Because like I said, when you make deals like that, Justice talking about, where everybody wants this big amount of money, somebody on the back end got some of it in their pocket.
Oh yeah.
That's a
Well,
given.
the
That's a
biggest
given.
problem is the crazy political structure they have in Chicago. It's very unique. They're the only ones that do it. They're the ones that have the alderman system, where each little part of the city has its own like mayor,
Yeah, but
and that has caused a lot of corruption.
Yeah, I'm not real familiar with the alderman. I assumed that it was almost like a city council type format, but they use different terminology. But the more I have learned about it, like you just said, each alderman almost has as much authority as the mayor in his area.
Yeah, and it created there's been a lot of corruption in
Of
Chicago
course.
because I watched a whole documentary on it where this guy like was walking around telling you the history, and then he
Mhm.
was going through all these aldermans over the years that have been caught with like stealing money from the city, and he
Yeah.
said it's just because they have too much power over one little
Mhm.
area of the city.
Yeah. No oversight.
Right.
No oversight.
Dustin said Chicago corrupt? Never. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're like I said, it's a unique political system because no other city in the country uses that. They're
Yeah.
the only ones that have that system set in place
Mhm.
where they have aldermans, and it's a really weird system.
Yeah.
And one guy they were talking about, one alderman actually got caught on security camera taking bribes from
Yeah.
a local business.
Like I said, that's nothing new in politics, no matter where you're from. And like I say, even that you're talking about that $50 million, a lot of times it doesn't come up front. But if you want to run for reelection, guess who your biggest donor is? The guy that gave the city $50 million for a dead end contract.
The first time I found out about lobbying, I thought, how the fuck is this not illegal? I don't get it.
It's
Lobbying,
like I said,
paying money to get
that's why every cycle, I don't care if it's for a president or a Senate cycle, a congressman cycle, they always talk
needs to
about
reset.
two things: reform the campaign finance laws and term limits. There's the two number one things you hear talk about all the time, and they talk about it, but they do nothing about it because
Well, I
they
would,
know it's the
It's profitable.
system.
That's why I don't
The
change it.
system that keeps them in power.
well, lobbyists are mainly like they would go to say a senator wanted to build a warehouse for some business in a local area, then some guy comes from a multinational company and is like, well, we have the ability to set up that warehouse for you. So if you do this for us, we'll get that warehouse set up.
Do you know what?
Isn't that kind of how they work it?
Yeah.
Well,
Like they,
like I say, it comes in a lot of forms. The basic form is simply this: hey, we need your vote for this project going through, and in your next election campaign, they don't put it in simple terms, but it's what usually happens. Your next election campaign, let us know what you need.
right.
What they've essentially done
That's why I said
is
you
they've
have these
made it
donors.
legal.
Yeah,
Right.
you have these donors. Because I say it's legal to donate to a campaign fund,
Yeah.
and that's why I said they're trying to put caps on the amount of money that can be funneled into a campaign fund. From just like I know for individuals here in California, I mean locally where I'm at, any individual person cannot contribute anything over $100. Okay, but a corporation can dump. I'm not sure what the limit is, but I think there's a certain amount of limit. So what happens is that people go out and create these political PAC groups. Okay, and what they'll do is they can collect as much money as they want, and they spend that money on your campaign. So the money doesn't go directly to you, but it pays for your campaign,
I like people putting signs up, stuff like
right?
that.
Putting signs up, commercials, mail out, all this kind of stuff. And they'll say, hey, this is by PAC, whatever their name of their group is, or for whoever.
Hold on,
and
Jonathan,
stuff.
let me look.
So the money doesn't go directly into the guy's pocket, but it pays for his campaign activities.
Oh no, I got your message this morning, Jonathan. I kind of went to bed
There's,
early
there's
last
all
night.
manner of ways in which they can pay that money to themselves. There's all manner of
Yeah,
ways to do
I
it.
said there's
not
ways
difficult.
that the money gets there, but that is the most
Mm.
obvious way is that you create these PAC groups. And that's why you see now, you hear about these groups who are funding Trump, you hear about these groups who are funding Biden. And I say the money doesn't go directly into their pockets directly,
Yeah.
but if I don't have to spend no money out of my pocket on my
Right.
campaign, it's just that's
It's as
gold
good
right
as.
there,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
Warning people, I now have the power.
Oh Jesus.
Where's
I have
Laura?
the
at? Somebody,
power
somebody, somebody
of
call Laura.
X. No, I have the
call
power
Laura.
of X.
Yeah.
Anyone that tweets, I have the power to say this is a load of bollocks and pin it underneath it.
No.
I'm not really going to do that, but I have the power to do it now. They accepted me onto their program.
What program?
What does that mean?
You selected people that meet a criteria on X. They send you a notification to say you meet the criteria, and if you agree to uphold their standards and that, it allows you to do community notes underneath. So, say a political party like last night had changed its name to try and confuse people into thinking it was actually the UK HMRC when it wasn't. It was the actual UK Tories that had changed the name. You can actually write underneath the post that they've changed their name and why they've changed it. It's quite a good
Wouldn't
thing.
they test you though? Wouldn't they want to find out if you know anything about politics before they give you a job like
Okay,
that?
so you're not really moderating, you're just kind of putting notes under.
You can put community
Post.
notes, but also you get higher priority. You know, if you report a tweet, so instead of where you report it, it automatically goes to a bot, and the bot goes, nah, there's nothing wrong with that, even though the person's just threatened to shoot some fucker. Yeah, my tweet reports now goes direct to a human.
Right.
Take down all my tweets.
And
I
as
was
long as I
bashing.
uphold the standards of Twitter, I'll be there for a long time.
Better take all my
Well,
dashing
with great
Birdman
power comes
videos
great
down off of
responsibility,
Twitter.
David.
It does.
Spider-Man. His uncle said that, I think. What was his uncle called? Uncle Bob, wasn't it? I'll mute myself because I'm chewing.
Okay, who shared the golf course, and why did we not get no info on it?
Lance flying over a golf course.
Oh, he's actually flying over it.
Hawaii.
Cool. I actually just thought it was a free, one of the Google images where you could just spin around on things.
No, that's
him.
That's a video from Lance's flight over in Hawaii. He's in Hawaii right now.
Cool.
That was a 360 that I shot, and I was just showing you guys that.
Beautiful video.
Cool.
Love it. Flying's a bit ropey, but easier
I
than
like
the
golf
Master 2.
courses. How are you, Mark? You're not sport much.
I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Justin won't let us get a word in edgeways.
It was crazy.
Where's Joe?
Oh no.
I've seen him.
Want
You
to
get that
see how
link,
those
Justin?
Boston cream Pop-Tarts
TJ.
You get that link in the chat, Justin, that I sent you?
I'm looking at it now.
But you like it. I think it's the same guy who did that video of the bald
Oh, the
eagle running
eagle?
around with the gun.
Yeah.
Same guy, I think.
So how's this for you?
Looks like it.
I've been told to prep for my biopsy on Monday.
Mm.
And I've got to
Good
be
luck, man.
ready. Got to be there at 12 o'clock on Monday. But it was probably not going to go ahead because all the junior doctors have gone out on strike.
Dear.
Well, how long will you be in for that?
It's normally on the day. It's you're just in and out, normally a couple of hours. But if it goes wrong, you can be in anything up to 2 weeks.
And if it goes wrong, you'll be there permanently.
If it goes wrong, I'll just lose my leg. That's all. Because they're the biopsy, they're going through taking skin sample and a bit of bone.
Okay,
bone
just be careful.
scraping.
Be careful. They got the right information down. We want you to come back home with a new haircut on the wrong spot.
It's fine. I don't have any hairs on my legs anymore. They died a long time ago. They gave me this cream and I put it on, and then I read the label. It says use minimal because it's highly flammable and it burns leg hairs off. And if you damage the nerves, they never grow back. Bit later, use the whole fucking tube.
Jonathan, if you go to my channel, it's like the second or third last video I did.
You do videos?
Now, David, was that the one labeled for jock itch?
Yeah. Yeah, freaking. I'm glad I don't have to use that cream anymore because I had to stand away from the oven and all sorts. Evil stuff.
Well, I wish you the best, my friend. I say my
Yeah, me too. I hope
my doctors have tracked me down and says, "Oh, Mr. Crawford, you are due for your annual colonoscopy."
You know what I'd have said to that? No shit, and you ain't having any.
Well, I said, well, at least I'll get a good nap out of it.
Yeah, I keep getting text messages and emails from my doctor and the health thingy saying that I haven't sent back me sample for a colon cancer.
Yeah.
Bowel cancer.
What is it? Do you have to poop in a jar or something? What's the test?
Oh, how old are you, Michael?
Yeah, you have
51.
to
51.
Yeah.
Oh,
back a,
Yeah, I need to get all that
about
stuff.
time you hit 55, they'll be sending out a letter to you.
Is it 55 in the
God.
UK or did they reduce it? Because I'm sure they said they were going to make it over 45.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I know it's
But
coming.
I've never had one.
I know it's in the pipeline, but I don't
Oh,
mind. You know, he's qualified.
that's a good attitude. It's in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, he's qualified, and
Well, they're all qualified.
just because he kisses your neck when he puts his thumb up there doesn't mean anything.
I'm over 70 and I've never had a colonoscopy.
What?
No, I've never had one.
Wow, I've had.
Nearly
Let us know next
This
time
will
you
be
go
my-
to the airport, Paul. We'll make sure you get one.
This would be my fourth.
Well, you
Well,
know,
that's-
started.
It's becoming a habit,
They
Dre.
started early asking if
Really?
I wanted a colonoscopy. No. So now they finally stopped. They don't ask me anymore.
They might not ask me again because in January, when I was in hospital and had the cyst, and they brought in all these junior doctors, they went, "These are all on training. You don't mind if they stand and watch?" And I went,
Jesus.
I just looked at them. I went, "If my arse is where they want to start their career, good luck to them." I
Are you
never saw any
serious?
of them again.
They wanted to come and check out your colonoscopy exam or something.
Yes, TJ, that's what I was doing.
Yep.
Eat my meals and wheels.
Thing is, here's the thing: it makes all types of sense for that to be the case because, of course, they've got to learn, and
You've got to learn
they've got
somewhere.
to figure out. Yeah. So, but it's
Yeah,
if
it's
you haven't had one
uncomfortable.
before, Right.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but like I said, if you don't allow them and they're not going to learn, then you're not going to get better.
That's a good attitude. I like it. I'm
Future
not quite
doctors
sure
need
if I
to
would
learn.
do the same.
Mhm.
Well, for
Whether
me,
learning from my arse is probably the right way to go is another story.
well, for me,
Used to say.
it's,
Because I
it's, a,
won't
it's
wanna
a
learn
history in
either.
my family, so that's why I'm proactive about it.
Right.
Hey,
yeah.
Frank.
Thing is with cancer is it does tend to be one in families,
Yeah, my grandmother had it. My dad has had issues. He's cancer free now, but he's had issues, and so I'm just being proactive about it.
Mm. Well, my dad's
Pretty good
brother
to
died.
check out.
So my mum's brother is prostate cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you,
Believe me, if I was given a choice, I would
Is
not. I would not decide on this
Sure.
one.
Well, all I'm going to say is I was definitely swapped at birth because one, I'm not an absolute twat like my rest of my family are, and two, they all have different medical conditions, diabetes and lung and liver things, and I've got none of that. Even though it's all supposed to be hereditary passed down,
Mm-hmm.
it bypassed me.
It's just
Everyone
lucky,
else
but
has
it
got
doesn't
it.
mean that you're going to get it.
Yeah,
Susceptibility.
it's probably when I was born they went, you need diabetes, and diabetes went, not going near that one. Nah, forget that.
Well, they probably said, we see a Laura in his future. We don't need to give them that much problems.
Yeah, he's going to suffer enough.
But it's like the eyesight thing. I'm the only one with really poor eyesight, where the rest of them don't.
Yeah.
So I am almost certain I was swapped.
Yeah.
The thing is with genetics is that conditions skip generations, and it's like I say, it's only susceptibility. It's not a guarantee that you'll get it.
Right.
So if you've got a susceptibility to types of cancer, you can mitigate the risk by cutting back on things that would trigger that condition to be worse or
Right.
kind of come on,
Mhm.
and for that gene to express itself. I'm not an expert, but there you go. So yeah, I should get my pipe tomorrow. So I go full Popeye.
Oh God, posh
I've got the
accent and
tobacco.
a pipe.
I've got the tobacco sitting here waiting to go. The pipe will arrive tomorrow.
What made you
so
decide to buy a pipe and start smoking a pipe?
it just seems like a good idea. The thing is, I was talking to Mark about it a couple of days ago, or maybe a week ago, and it seems to be that if I can cut down with a pipe, it's going to be better than smoking fags all day.
And it
Fags
keeps
are shit.
By the way, when he says
There
fags,
you
he
go.
means
Exactly. Oh yeah, cigarettes.
I caught that, but I was just thinking that with the pipe, he can pass himself off as a lord or something like that, and be more impressive.
Exactly.
When he,
And it
when
makes
he
me look extremely clever.
He's not. He's going to grow a TJ style mustache, and
wow.
he's going to have a trilby hat, and he's going to
No.
turn up at crime scenes and go, "Ooh,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I've already got a ZZ Top beard that's coming on a bit. It's like Mark's, but it's a bit longer, and I've got it kind of more, shaped into that kind of.
Right. You got to keep it shaped right. And
Yeah.
you got to learn to have that tone in your voice.
Yeah, but with great beards comes great responsibility as well. You see,
That's right.
it's not for everyone.
You've got to order a monocle.
And I might do that.
And then as Mark, I know where he's going. We'll call you Mr. Monopoly.
There you go.
This will be
Then I
shaved.
can-
In a few days, I'll shave it all back.
hey,
off.
Laura." Laura's
See,
going
when I
live.
get that look, I might start using my camera when I get that look, because at the moment I'm just sat in the lounge in my underpants, and no one wants to see that. But when I have a pipe and
Wait,
a monocle and
sat
a
in
big
the
beard,
lounge in your underpants with a pipe.
it's very hot at the moment. No, I don't have a pipe at the moment. What I mean
No,
is, at
but
the moment, it's not
tomorrow.
a good idea for me to be on camera. But tomorrow, I'm obviously, if we're going to be on camera, I'm going to be wearing clothes as well. But yeah, the pipe, beard, and the monocle might be a look that I can live with, and I might end up being on camera.
Get yourself a robe and everything.
Yeah, what a treat for
He's
everyone.
going.
The
He's going
smoking
for the
jacket.
retired. He's going for the retired MI6 look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trying to look like Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Mm.
more like James Robertson Justice.
Basildon Bond.
Yeah.
Russ Abbott, that was what.
Mm. Russ Abbott character, yeah. Brilliant. Russ Abbott.
What did you call it?
Basildon Bond.
Basildon.
It's a Basildon Bond, yeah. They make letters. You know, like you get a little book and it was
Yeah.
kind of fancy headed paper. Yeah, yeah. That paper for writing was made by a company called Basildon Bond, and it was there were even adverts in the 80s for it, you know, Basildon Bond, with, you know, classy
You know, I live
paper
in
or something.
Basildon and never heard of it.
And Russ Abbott,
Yeah.
he played one of his sketches. He played a character called Basildon Bond.
Yeah, a secret agent. The name's
With-
Bond. Basildon Bond.
Yeah.
Let me find it for you, David. I'll show you.
Bella Emberg.
Well, I always preferred the character John Steed from the Avengers.
Oh, it was quite cool.
Over in America, do you have the teddy bear brand Posh Paws?
No.
POSHPAWS.
Well, what do they do? What kind of
They make
products?
all the little teddy bears from McDonald's and stuff like that.
Doesn't sound familiar.
Nah.
Well, they're actually quite a big brand, and only a couple of weeks ago we noticed that they're actually based in Basildon.
Excuse me.
Although the other teddy bear company in Basildon really needs to get out a bit more. They created, you remember all in the wild, the film, the koala that went on that ship and stuff.
No.
No, it didn't make the U.S. rounds.
Oh, it is because it's quite big. It's a US film.
Is
But
it
anyway, this koala that goes round.
documentary?
It's a film, like an animated film.
Oh,
It's called Disney the Wild.
You got to remember that David's got all the kids there all the time, and so they want to watch the kids show.
But- No, I like Disney the Wild. I watched it before the kids for educational purposes. But this company in Basildon that made the teddy bears for it made an absolute boo-boo. They put, "I'm a koala. We're from England, you know."
Hmm.
Wait, what? Since when?
really?
From Australia. Fuckers.
Yeah, I
That
think
is a
the
boo,
biggest
isn't it?
the biggest name as far as anything to do with bears here in America is Build-A-Bear.
Oh, we got Build-A-Bear here.
Yeah, that's the.
I can imagine he's got a hard hat
I've,
and boots.
I've heard of kids having whole parties at Build-A-Bear, and that's what they
Yeah,
do.
you better build your damn wallet too, because
No kidding. It ain't
that
cheap.
shit's expensive.
Yeah.
Don't I know it?
Build-A-Bear
Laura
party.
wants a Stitch. And I was like, okay, it's going to be at 18, 20 quid.
Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah. She went, I was like, okay, it's going to be about 18, 20 quid. She went, no, try 160. Like, what? She went, well, yeah, it is the size of a human. Well, you can fucking stay there.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's
A
they're
Stitch. Build-A-Bear.
Stitch
Well, it's not
wasn't the
even-
size of a human when it was on a cartoon.
It's not even necessarily the size too. Just a little basic bear can run you $50 there.
Yeah.
Now, I
It's
wouldn't
just
mind
the-
going to get the costume. You know, just get the bear outfit without all the stuff inside it.
Dressing up.
I think I could have some real good fun running around London as a real life Stitch.
It's the customability is what you're paying for, because it's so you know you're literally starting from scratch and building your own custom bear.
No, you're paying for the franchise of the product, and also that you got to pay the wages of that person that puts her foot on the little pedal to put the fluff in.
You put your foot on the pedal. I build a bear.
Okay, we don't woke the monster now.
Oh yeah, you start screaming in the background. Shut up, David! I'm gonna
Mhm.
build my bear.
Mhm.
bitch.
Yeah, I want to get one of them life-size teddy bears off Amazon as well, just to
'Cause you know-
empty it out, empty all the beads out. I'll just chuck the beads out outside and pretend it snowed, and then climb inside the bear and put the zip on it.
It's just dawned on me that the bear you're talking about is not a bear that's themed as a builder with a hard hat or anything. It is build a bear, as in you build your
Yeah,
own.
you
get
build your
parts,
own
right?
bear.
Yeah.
Right. You build your own bear.
And the worst bit is you've made your bear, and they've charged you the $50, as Justin said, and then they go, "Would you like it to have a hula skirt? Beg your pardon? Would you like it to have its outfit? Yeah, okay then. That's another $100.
Yeah,
It's
charging you
cheaper
that
to
much
buy
for
you
something you
freaking
build
clothes in the
yourself.
real shop than it is to buy them in there."
Thing is, you could go into a charity shop, get some material for a couple of dollars from an old item of clothes, and you can stitch anything for your bear, couldn't you? That's the best thing to do if you're ever into that sort of thing. It
Yeah,
would
but
cost you
these
£2.
are yeah, but these are custom. They're properly made. They're like proper cartoon characters, not
Yeah.
they're not like a normal teddy bear. You know, the big brown bear with fluffy ears and stuff.
People put value in such bizarre
Justin,
things, don't
check
they?
your messages. Laura said
Hold on a sec.
quickly, Justin, before she asked me to tell you again.
Michael, you hit the nail on the head. It is just sometimes it just baffles the mind of the things people put
Right.
value. Just like back in the 80s with the Cabbage Patch doll,
There you go, yeah.
you know? And it's like even to this day, them things are worth several $100 if you still can find one. You
But
know,
have the
and,
latest.
and people
Kids
have
want the
built,
latest things.
yeah, and people have built whole rooms in their houses devoted to these things.
Hmm.
And I'm like, and that right there just tells me you have a problem.
Yeah, that's a bit tapped. It is, yeah.
Yeah, I said
Going
you
crazy.
have a problem, big time.
Thing is, since I started looking at watches and stuff, I became aware that there are certain brands that
Oh,
get a little bit
yeah.
of value from something else. But then there are brands which are successful because they're just well-engineered watches. They're good, So that's what people are buying. They're just buying well-engineered stuff.
Right.
But it's not always like that. Some people, these collectors'
This is what
watches
Laura
and
wants
stuff
me
are
to
really
buy.
bad.
Yeah.
Well, that's a sexual kink right there, David.
And it's
That
like right
thing-
now they talk about here in the States about this Lego theft thing going on with the little small Lego people worth,
Yeah.
several hundreds to $1,000 for the little Lego figures.
Yeah,
stuff.
interesting.
And people
Crazy
are actually
expensive.
breaking in these stores, stealing the little figures.
Oh, you're talking about the minifigs, yeah.
Yeah, the minifigs.
Wow.
And I'm
They're
sitting
stealing
there
them.
saying, what the heck?
You know,
Yeah.
they say that they actually compare Legos to gold as far as what you pay in weight on those. They say they're actually, you pay more in weight on Legos than you do gold.
Hmm.
Shut up,
Because
Justin.
they're fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Mm.
And like I
Well,
said, these
look-
people are, there's a black market for it. And people are breaking into these Lego stores, stealing them. And there's no way to really trace them because there's no brand marking on them per se.
Well, Laura's a big crafter, isn't she, David?
No,
I would say she's more crafty than crafter.
I can hear you, Dre.
That's why I said it loud.
I don't know. You're always making something, Laura. That's, I think you should be a spokesperson on YouTube for crafting.
Yeah. And Paul, I am
Yeah.
not falling into your trap. She was stood right behind me.
Hmm.
I'll choose my moments wisely.
You wait before I walk out the room then.
Laura, can you
Yes?
take David's balls out of the jar and hand them to him?
You know what he said when she said she wanted that Lola? He was like, and how would you like that wrapped up, ma'am? Would you like a little pretty bow on it?
Mm.
He always
Oh.
tries to act tough, but then Laura always gets what she wants. at the end
Oh,
of it.
she's always right there. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
That's because,
'Cause-
actually she makes him, you know?
He'll get mad when like I mention something that she wants, and then she decides she wants to buy it, and then a week later he's getting pissed off at me because he ended up buying it for her. He's like, I just want to blame you.
Blame you for everything, Justin.
So which one of the kids are coming this weekend?
Child number 2.
Are you guys not going to take a weekend to yourselves? Jeez.
Yeah, but this is the last time we can have the kids for a while because of my biopsy. I'm supposed to rest for 6 weeks. So I've got 6 weeks of going, Laura, make me a cup of tea, and I'm going, fuck off.
My kids are still gone for another 10 days. Oh my God, it was so quiet in the house last night. It was weird. Usually they're busting in my damn room every 10 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, so yeah, it was super quiet in the house last night. Nobody here.
What would rest look like, David?
I don't
6
know. I'll
weeks
let you
of
know when
rest.
I find it.
Holiday?
Hey, Justin, couldn't you have said, look, I've had enough of a fortnight. Can you make it a month?
Well, I was gonna see if they just do year-round camp,
Mm,
so you might keep
No,
them the rest of the year.
the joke was based on the word fortnight.
Oh no, I get that.
Mm.
David, this door be shut.
All right.
Hi, Dusty. Didn't notice he'd come in. And TJ.
Later, Warren. Like Warren's probably gonna venture outside today. Instead, comfortable temperatures, low humidity, and sunshine.
What was it? 18 degrees here with 60% humidity.
Been fucking hot here though. Like right now, it's 89, feels like 101 with 73% humidity.
Stop
Yeah.
crying.
Bit colder than it was yesterday. And the
How hot
forecast
upstairs, Ray?
What's
it's
that?
cloud- don't look like it's going to rain.
How hot is it there?
Sun's up.
Has it been hitting 100 at all lately?
It has been 100 for all week.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I'd rather be in that dry heat though.
I can say that's what I don't even. When it rains, I enjoy it because I tell people, "Oh, it's raining too much." I say, you know what? When it gets hot, your ass gonna be complaining about how hot it is. So stop crying about the rain. Simple as that. And you can't run from the heat.
On the desert area, you gotta introduce humidity even to, I mean,
Mhm.
most people use swamp coolers, which
Right,
adds humidity to the air because it's so damn dry.
right.
So it's the best way to cool your house down.
Yeah, the most efficient way.
There's nothing like sitting in front of a damn swamp cooler in the middle of summer, just sitting there. My dad had a big ass industrial one that was made for like a warehouse
Hmm.
and actually had it on his roof, and it was he actually had the roof reinforced and a big frame put on the roof and had this thing
Right,
put on
yeah,
there,
the
and it was
weight.
so powerful. You'd go to open the door in the house and you would have to
Yeah, because of the
like
pressure.
push in,
Yeah.
and then so we had to leave one window just slightly cracked about a quarter inch
Hmm.
because you couldn't open the damn doors.
Right.
As soon as you
Swamp
let go of the
cooler.
door, it'd slam shut.
Yeah.
A swamp cooler, is that this thing that Tim got? Remember that machine that sat next to him?
No,
The blue air. Is that a swamp cooler?
No, a swamp cooler uses like pads. Well, the best
Yeah.
way to describe it, so it's like a big box. There's
Right.
there can either be 3 or 4 pads on the sides. And what it does is
Yeah.
it drips water down in the pads and then it sucks the air through the pads from the outside.
Oh,
And by
okay. Yeah.
adding that cool water onto the pads, it adds a little humidity. And then the air
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
out nice and ice cold on
Do
the
you
other side.
know? Do you know from a physics-wise, it doesn't matter what temperature the water is. That what's the effect there is called latent heat dispersal. If you blow air over
But
water,
the swamp
it'll take
cooler
the
is
heat
like
out.
such a basic design. Like there's nothing to it.
I'm gonna
It's
look
like
that
Like anybody can fix a swamp cooler. It's that easy of a fix. Like it's literally just a motor, 4 pads. You have
Yeah.
a water pump that pumps water up a hose and out the little spider. I don't remember what they're called, but they're little like
Yeah.
drippers. And that's
So
it.
have you
That's the
heard of a
whole
swamp cooler,
cooler.
Mark? Are you familiar with it? When you said swamp
I've,
cooler?
Yeah, you guys
I've
wouldn't
heard
have them
of
there.
it
Yeah.
before, but I've never seen one. But it's just like the opposite of a dehumidifier.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
it's desert areas that use swamp coolers, so unless
Right.
you've lived in a desert, you probably would never have seen one. So,
And when you get a fixed one on top of the house, is best. A lot of people, they get them after the fact, and they put it usually in a front window or side window
Yeah.
of the house, and you know,
well,
they'll
you get
last
less.
for they'll last for about a good 15 to 20 years before they wear out and stuff. But like Justin said, you got to understand how it actually works. You need to have a window or something on the opposite side of the house cracked open to let the air filtrate through the whole house. People always want to close doors and stuff, and it actually hurts the system from cooling the house off when everything's closed off.
And it doesn't have to be open much. I'm talking like a hairline crack, just enough to let that pressure out.
It's just like having I guess they call it a central fan up at the top of the house. If you leave like a window or a patio door slightly open, the air from outside sifts through, and that fan kicks all the hot air out of the house.
But yeah, swamp coolers, dude, there's nothing like sitting in one of those. But see, the ones with the window units too, you get less coverage because those usually generally only have 3 pads. The
Right.
ones that go on the roof, you have that extra pad because you got 4
Mhm.
sides
Yeah.
because you're going straight down with it. So yeah,
Yeah.
you get better cooling that way too.
Yeah. My
But
parents' home, we had a swamp cooler when I was growing up, and that thing used to cool the house down. Especially it's when the main vent that came down was right where all the bedrooms were at, so it made it nice at night and stuff.
But the pads on my dad's swamp cooler, I kid you not, Dre, were probably 4.5 foot by 4.5 foot. That's how big it was.
Yeah, you had
Like it
industrial
was
stuff,
huge.
probably built
Eh,
the whole
And he
warehouse.
actually got it from the guy that owned Lake Dolores. Remember the water park that got
Yeah,
abandoned out there?
yeah.
He got it from him right after the park closed. He
Mm.
gave it, my dad knew the owner of the park and he let my dad take one off the roof. So he went over there with the tow truck and they put the boom up there and they hooked it up to
Mhm.
it and they pulled it up off the roof. That's how they got it up on my dad's roof. He just used one of his tow trucks to put it up there.
Yeah,
But he had a contractor come in and reinforce the roof
yeah.
and then one of my uncles who's a metal worker, he's a welder and stuff and did all that. He built a really nice metal frame. They held it up on the roof and they bolted it into the roof and all that.
Yeah. They're very, very efficient, economical system to cool a house in the right environment,
Exactly,
like the
Donald.
desert.
The high humidity of swamp cooler is completely useless.
Yeah, if you got humidity, it's useless.
If I tried to use one of those in Florida, it wouldn't work with the shit.
All I'd be doing is pushing hot air around.
Yep, and that's pretty much the design right there. It's so simple.
Yep.
It's
So this is outside. Is this outside of the house? Is that right?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's
Okay.
outside the house.
And it's such a basic design. Like I said, the most you usually have to replace every year is the water pump and maybe the belt.
Hmm.
Is
The
this
motors
is
usually
water then?
last. Yeah,
Yeah,
This
that's
is a
what it
water.
water
does.
tank.
You're right. It fills up to a certain point, and then it has a water. There's a what do you call it? A valve And once it gets to a certain level, it shuts the water off, and then the
Oh,
pump
yeah, like
just
a
pulls
toilet.
the-
Yeah, like a cistern.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the
A
valve in the
float-
back,
a
back
float
of your
valve.
toilet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
float
So
valve.
this sprays water, hit the water distribution lines. It sprays
Mhm.
water on these evaporation pads, and it's
Right.
the latent heat dispersal which causes that hot air to be boiling off.
Well,
But like I
what,
said,
the cool air that comes in from the wind through the pads that are wet now, it
Yeah.
takes that cool air and forces it down into the dwelling.
Yeah.
and what's good, like I
it's-
said, and what's good about those is they're so basic, the design, that you don't have to call an air conditioning guy to come fix it.
Right. Yeah, because
Anybody
air
with half
conditioning
a
is
brain can.
pressurizing stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
well, the thing is an air conditioning unit is a lot more complex. This
Sure,
is so
yeah.
basic that anybody with a freaking half a brain could work on one of these.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
could,
because it's like a
I could-
toilet which sprays stuff.
right, I could spend probably 30 minutes, replace the pads. I could put a new motor, new water pump, and new float in there. And it would take me maybe a half hour to redo it, almost the entire thing.
I
But
would say
that's
the
how
biggest,
quick it is.
the only drawbacks on swamp coolers is that unlike central air, you're only going to have one or two different outlet vents.
Right.
But the air is coming through at such a high pressure that it filtrates throughout the whole house.
Right.
There's only going to be
Exactly.
no more than two vents in the house itself. It's not going to be like you have ductwork that goes into every room.
And
just
some
gonna be-
people don't even have multiple vents. It's just one big vent from the
Yeah,
actual swamp
Most
cooler
of
coming in
most
the
of them are
window.
one large vent. I've seen some with two, but usually it's one large vent. And because of the high volume of air from the motor spinning that basket wheel,
Ah,
is-
funny, Donald.
is that it goes into all the rooms of the house. That's why it's about having pressurized, the doors get pressurized and stuff because of that large vent.
Positive pressure in the house.
Because
Yeah.
you, 'cause you gotta think when you're messing with the air conditioning central air unit, you're dealing with freon, electronic, there's motherboards that run them and blowers, and it's a way more complex system. Like
Mhm.
if you don't know what you're doing, you're not gonna work on an air conditioning unit.
Yeah.
Those, you could not know what you're doing and figure it out if you have any common sense.
And the only
Don't
electricity
figure it out.
being used is the fan and maybe the pump for the water being
Right,
sprayed
and usually
onto
you
the
have a
thing.
double plug that's at the top where the spider valve is, that feeds the water down. Usually you'll have a double plug up there that you plug the pump and the motor into. It's on the inside.
Imagine if it's low voltage as well, it'd be safer as well for
Yeah,
people working.
it's more cost efficient than central air, big time.
Oh, it's way cheaper, yeah.
But like I said, the biggest thing, maintenance is always the biggest thing, no matter what it is that you're using. As long as you keep your pads changed out every year or twice a year, and keep an eye on the buildup of your of calcium and stuff on the water pump system, you'll be okay.
The
But that's-
two
that's-
things, yeah, that's true, because the two things we changed almost every year was usually just the pump and the pads, because the pumps were like 10, 15 bucks. They weren't expensive.
And I say the
Yeah,
pump
wear
issue is
out.
always if you got hard water in your area, the calcium buildup on the pump.
All learn to
Yep.
spell llama.
The motors, we usually those would last about 2-3 years. And then sometimes you might get a little longer out of one of those. But
Yeah,
generally
depending
I
on the hard
noticed
water.
that when I was younger that it was about every
You know,
2-3 years
well.
we had to replace one of those.
I remember those things lasted about at least 10 to 15 years, the motor. And stuff. But I said,
David,
you grew up out in the
David, what
desert,
did you
so
say,
you
David?
guys had it. You
I
guys are
said
running.
learn how to spell llama. It's 2 L's. It's double L-A-M-A.
Well, you had dirt build up sometimes in them too. You had to keep it clean.
Yeah, well, that's because you had
The
the wind
dust.
blowing the dirt.
Mark,
And as I said, if you were
Michael?
smart, you would go up on the roof and get a blanket. They made blankets for them to cover them up in the winter time and stuff,
Yep.
so you wouldn't get a lot of dirt accumulation.
Yeah, it was like a car cover for them.
Yeah.
Almost.
Mark, Michael,
Mhm.
I'm afraid to let you know it's on.
Uh-oh.
Man your stations, get ready. get your electric bats out, your newspapers, whatever, because here comes the flying ants.
The hell are you talking about?
I guess
Flying ant
more-
day.
England, we
You
get
got a
flying
flying
ants.
ant convention or
Yeah.
what?
Normally, like roughly around about the same time of year, we have a little like hot spell. When it cools down, the flying ants come out and they fly off and make new colonies. And they call it Flying Ant Day. Great day
Oh,
for the
yeah.
birds because they get picked off. But yeah, not great day for people because they come in your fucking flat, they're on your windows, they're in your curtains, they're fucking everywhere.
We used to have we had flying ants in California too, in Southern California where I live.
Oh, everywhere gets them. It's just that the UK it just seems to happen at all one time, and you just
They
come out
weren't
in massive
super-
swarms.
They weren't super common, but you'd see them every once in a while. They weren't that
Oh.
bad.
It's a flightless species of ant until the temperature gets just right, and then they start to have ant babies that can fly, and then they
Yeah,
they,
it's the queen
extend
ant.
the colonies.
Yeah, it's the queen ant that can fly, and she can fly for around about 3 or 4 hours. But once she lands, her wings fall off, and
Okay.
she picks her location, and that's her colony.
And
Unfortunately,
they extend their reach. Then you see that's a good idea.
yeah,
isn't it?
but a lot. Do you reckon 90% of them get eaten?
Thank
When you
God.
have millions, I suppose you're playing the numbers game.
Yeah, this was the one that we had right here, Dre. Is it
Dre's
because
dropped
ours had double doors, double
Dre's
sides.
dropped off, Justin.
Well, this is huge. This is like half the size of a fucking car.
Yeah.
And we
It's as tall as
normally
a car. Though.
normally you have one door or one panel, but ours actually had 2 panels because it was so big. You had 2 on each side. The one my dad had
Maintain
on
it.
his house.
Mm.
But I'll tell you what, dude, it was like hurricane force fucking winds in the house. Felt good in the summertime.
It. Yeah, like you say, it's far more economical to run something like that than it is for an air conditioning unit.
We had central air in my
quicker.
dad's house for years, and I don't think we ever used it. Like
Expensive to run.
we never had like it actually kind of sat there and rotted away on the side of the house, and then eventually he actually had it removed because we never used the heat either. It never really got cold enough. I mean, we probably would use the heat maybe a week or 2 out of the year, and that was it. But
Chocat, your microphone keeps reminding me of the old Spectrum games, Tank Wars. You used
Oh,
to go
Dingo
around with a
making
tank.
Robot.
staticky noise.
No, you just keep getting this. Sounds
Yeah,
like the
it's-
old Spectrum tank getting blown up.
Oh, does it?
Sounds
Oh, okay.
sounds like a loose
I might have to
cable.
go
Like
listen to that.
Yeah, or Space Invaders. When the
It's my internet connection. But
yeah, it's Space Invaders when it goes neat, 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 and then you get down to the bottom. That last one, it hits you, and it goes.
yeah, I got the update, Laura. I don't know what it's for, but 'cause I don't see really anything new in the shop. So
Okay, everybody, I think I'm gonna call it. It's 11:30 a.m. here on the East Coast. We're
ready for
gonna be
next
back
time?
on again at 5:00 p.m. David, you join us.
Yeah, and
That's-
Laura's going
that's-
live in
Cool
4
cat.
minutes.
Mark, you take care.
later.
thanks for having us, Paul. See you,
Yeah.
everyone. Have a good day.
Anyone else bored? Laura's going live.